Yo, what's up, everybody? I just want to do a video on something, man, that's kind of important to me, Um, just trying to kind of, I guess, explain the mind of a veteran, somebody that's been in the military and been overseas through their job and kind of, what happens to us, I guess. To the best of my knowledge, I'm still figuring myself out, but I feel like there's a big misunderstanding in our community with some of that stuff, and, I want to do my best to explain it. I think the biggest thing is that people, when you come back, you're going to be different. This is a job that's going to change you. When you go and you deploy, things in your life back home, they're going to keep moving while you're gone. And then when you come home, you're expected to adapt back into that. And those things they're going to change you. They might be little. For a lot of people, they're big, If you've had to fight combat, if you're somebody that has witnessed violence, you've had to kill somebody, you've watched your friends die, things like that, your mind is going to reset. It's never going to be the same. And a lot of people, they don't understand that, they can't figure it out, which I think is why there's so many issues with veterans being able to readapt and get along with people, or people being able to readjust to the ones they love after they come home from war. From my own personal experience, I can tell you my last deployment was pretty rough, man. It was pretty horrible. There was somebody I was really close to that right before the deployment, he was going through some things. He was actually looking forward to the deployment because he was somebody that had deployed multiple times, and each time he came home, he got a little bit farther away. It was harder for him to adjust to the people here. He was having a lot of hard life problems, and they denied him being able to go on the deployment because of his psychological stuff that was going on, and he killed himself. So it started out our deployment automatically really rocky, everybody in the unit felt it, man. It ricocheted through us. So when we go overseas, we deploy. We got attached to a unit that we didn't particularly get along with, which made the whole rest of the deployment, hella rocky. We got divided up amongst 4 or 5 different countries. And some of us, weren't involved in the war at all. We were in certain countries, getting to do tours in the city and things like that. Some of us were forwarded to places that were extremely violent. There was a lot of things going on. We saw a lot of detrimental things. So then it almost divided the unit, as far as people being close there, because certain people couldn't understand other people's problems, There was some people that were even angry and having issues because they didn't get to go forward and do what they felt their mission was, I lost a couple friends. They weren't from my unit, but they were from other units around us that were also deployed at the time. That was pretty rough. There were some pretty serious things going on that I'm not really going to get into, but it was tough times. There was affairs that happened behind soldiers' backs while they were deployed. One soldier in particular couldn't make it through the deployment because the affair was so bad. They sent him home within 3 months. A lot of other people, that stuff's sitting over there, it's festering and it's bubbling up inside you, and it's becoming, hard to deal with, but you're keeping it in, trying to continue this mission, and you're, hundreds of thousands of miles away from home, man. With, you literally can't do anything, deaths in the families, babies being born, all kinds of stuff like that, and the only thing you can focus on is what's going on in front of you, Then, we come home from all of this, and another guy almost right away got into an accident, and it was never determined whether it was really just an accident or he was going through some things and he, did it on purpose, but he died from that. He passed away from that, so that rocked the unit too. And then people basically just coming home to find out that their lives didn't stop, bills were still due, debt was still there, um, families were having problems, wives had cheated, you know what I'm saying? Some wives had left completely, you know, people they loved died, um, jobs were moving on and changing, just all kinds of things that an average person doesn't have to deal with, or they're here for those things when they happen, so they don't realize how much it impacts you and you don't have anything you can do about these. But for us, that's life. When we deploy, that's what happens. Everybody gets affected one way or another. And we come home after being to these extremely violent places, and our job is to fight and be soldiers, and we're told that if our anger comes out the wrong way, if something happens, we get in a position we feel like we're trying to defend ourselves, then we get threatened with jail and lawsuits and all kinds of stuff like that. All of a sudden you just start to recluse from people, start to not want to deal with anybody, and then people treat you like you're the bad guy because you're going through these things. People become scared to deal with you, so they don't try. It's tough, man. It's a hard thing to deal with. That's why there's so much tragedy in the military. That's why the suicide rate is so high. That's why there are so many criminal problems, That's why drug use and alcohol use amongst veterans that have come home is so off the chart. I think that the world needs to understand that we're doing a job that protects the people at home. We sign our name on that line to go and protect this nation and the people in it, and there needs to be more understanding towards us when we get home. I'm not speaking just for myself on that. I'm just speaking for veterans in general. Like, it's not an easy thing to deal with, and a lot of us in the modern military, we're not doing this one time. We're doing this 2, 3, 4, 5 times if you're a career soldier. You guys have to understand, the psychological battlefield that veterans deal with, and try to be more embracing, try to be, open-armed and loving, and understand those things. Because it's not that we want to be these monstrous or depressive or, whatever other type of people when we go home. It's just, we don't really know all the time when it's okay to be ourselves or who would understand us. And then, of course, everybody's like, well, you can go to the VA, you can do this, you can do that. Well, dude, the VA is a whole nother fight, man. I'll save that for another video, but it's not like you don't just come home and get the help you need. It's another battleground. It's another fucking fight, man. And some people don't ever get the help they need, and it's really sad. But the only thing I'm trying to get out of this video, man, is some understanding, and hopefully be able to give you guys some understanding. It's a big problem in our society nowadays, how we treat our veterans and how our veterans act and the mental problems they face when they get home. So let's try to do better,